Hi everybody, it's Ani, the adult doll and toy collector. Welcome back to the small plastic world. It's the first week of December 2025, which I cannot believe it still, but it's here, and that means it is time for another hodgepodge video. This is a super fun hashtag collab hosted by Irene at Irene Huff's Doll Space. The channel is linked in the title and in the description box. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. So first up, we have this super pretty CEO or Generation Girl Face Barbie, and I do not know which doll this is. So if you happen to know which doll this is, please comment and let me know. Early 2000s, right, is when this face started getting used, and they have this slightly different body. And this was the era when they did this new eye paint, which I really like. It has those lines in it, so it kind of is supposed to look like a person's iris, I think. But anyway, it's really cool, and she has bright red lipstick. She does have the open mouth smile. You know, it's not my favorite. It's pretty on this doll. She has long, light blonde hair. It looks kind of shaggy in the back here, but I truly believe that it was not cut. This looks to me like factory hair because I have so many dolls that I personally took out of the box in like the 90s. Their hair looks like this, but I don't know if it had more of a style to it or not, but I just think it's very pretty. The doll does not have pierced ears, and this doll is on a different body that came out at that time too, where she has a belly button or a navel that you can see right there, which was different than this doll who has the older style body. They had a much smaller waist. Barbie on the left here has a smaller bust line than the older body had, and her waist is less cut in like the older style body. And you can see the hands are molded differently as well, with more separated fingers. The hands actually look bigger too, don't they? She has 7 points of articulation, so you can move her head all around. Her arms come out at the shoulder and they go back and forth, of course. And she can bend at the hip to sit down, and her legs go back somewhat, a little bit. And she kicked off her shoe, but she does have oh, there goes the other one. She has a nice bend and click knee and they still work. This doll was one of those bag-along dolls. She was in a bag with another doll that I had really actually wanted. I don't typically pick up the blue-eyed blondes, but this one is really pretty, so I believe I will keep her. So I put her in these separates that I think are fashion fever, judging by the color and the style. These pieces were a gift from generous friend R. Thank you very much. The shirt is super fun. It has mesh sleeves, which I love, and then this kind of mauve dusty rose, I guess a bodice, I don't know, the main part of the shirt, and this fun maroon colored lace around the bottom, and everything goes all the way around to the back, and it opens and closes with Velcro. And these short capri pants, which I love, they're also sort of a maroon color, and they have this cool pattern of flowers that also open and close in the back with Velcro. And there's this really nice little trim around the hems on the legs. And the doll's painted on undergarments are peeking out. And then I put her in these shoes that she does not want to keep on her feet because I thought the colors worked perfectly with this outfit. And the shoes were a gift from generous friend A. Thank you to R and A for this wonderful outfit. And then I made this totally silly looking necklace. I got a bag of these alphabet beads at Dollar Tree. They are still $1.25 for a bag of about 300 of these beads. And it turns out they fit on these, I don't know what you call these things. It's kind of like a keychain, these little ball and metal. If you know what these are called, please let me know. I think there's a name for them, but I don't know it. But I was just really happy that the beads actually fit on those chains, so I just made this silly necklace and I put it on this doll just so you could see the scale. It's not horrible, but it does look pretty silly. So I don't know that I would make a bunch of these for dolls or anything. If you do know who this doll is, please let me know. I finally solved the mystery of the origin of this little dress. So I was watching a Laos Sky Painter video, and Laos Sky Painter got a hold of a Skipper doll from about 1988. The box date is 87, and it turns out that this dress is from Teen Sweetheart Skipper, and it's kind of a convertible dress situation. Here's a picture from the box of Skipper wearing just this part of the dress. You can see it looks pretty short on Skipper. And then there was detachable skirt, like a ball gown kind of a skirt, which explains the snap back here. But you could also use the ball gown skirt as sort of a train. So that's also probably why there was a snap there. I was very happy to solve a doll mystery. And this is just something kind of weird. And I want to know if it's just me or if these things happen to you as well. So definitely let me know. But for some reason, these two dolls always kind of seem to gravitate toward each other, like they're sisters or something. So I always kind of think of this little doll as being this Barbie's little sister. It's just kind of random, but I don't know if that's just me or if dolls kind of make little family groups all on their own in your doll collection too. So definitely let me know. And speaking of little dolls, I picked up this doll on a thrifting run. It was quite a while ago, and I believe I completely forgot to ever show her to you. So I figured I would do it today in the hodgepodge. I don't typically pick up these little dolls, but first of all, how can you resist this cute little face? But also, you all know how much I love brown eyes and blonde hair on a doll, and I don't think it's a combination we get very often. Plus, I absolutely love this hairstyle. This doll is the size of the original Kelly or Shelly doll, and she came with her original little dress and her original little red shoes. So I've washed them all up, and she has a feature. She's got this lever in her back, and her right arm is permanently bent. And then when you push the lever, her arm goes up to her face. I don't know if she's supposed to be eating or drinking or what. It's cute. She does have other articulation. Her head goes back and forth, and her left arm goes back and forth, although her hands being splayed out like that make it hard to go past her hip. So it's kind of stuck just going forward. She bends at the hip where she can sit, and her legs actually go out so she can kind of do the splits. I thought this little doll was cute, and I don't typically pick them up, but she was part of a lot at that one thrift store with the giant box of dolls, if I recall correctly. So, I just threw her in with the other dolls, and here she is. She's a little cutie. And last but not least, it took me much longer than it should have to realize that these two dolls have the same face. It's the same face mold, the mouth and the nose, and of course the hair. It's just that the dolls have different skin tones and their eyes are placed slightly differently on the face, so they look very different. And this doll on the left, who is our budget doll that we redressed, has a shinier finish on his hair than the doll on the right, who is our fashionista with hearing aids, who does not. And then of course they have different bodies. Our fashionista on the right, he's broader and larger than our doll on the left. They are both very handsome. They both do have a unique look, even though they've got the same face mold. There you have it, just a super quick video with some hodgepodge dolls. Please let me know if you know who this doll is, or actually this little doll. I just realized I don't really know exactly who she is either. Let me know if you have ever solved some doll mysteries just by watching someone's video and completely at random seeing the item that you were trying to figure out what it was. Tell me if it takes you longer than it should to realize that two dolls have the same face mold. And also let me know if you did a hodgepodge video. Leave a comment to let me know so I can be sure to watch the video. And thank you so much for joining me today, just for a quick little hodgepodge video. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you very much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.